Hello, everyone, and welcome to the weekly dose of woo, where we keep track of the woo so that you do not have to. There are 4 rounds when you show up in person. We talk about your wins, joys, and how you get to brag about your life. We talk about what you are manifesting in a supportive environment so that you can manifest it quicker. We then do the mini class, which is what you're tuning into now. And then we do a practical exercise because we all lie to ourselves and say that we will make time. We don't. So I make time for you. And by the end of the video, you will know what to do with today's theme. Today's theme makes me happy. Today's theme has nothing to do with astrology. Today's theme is your villain era. And it is talked a lot about on social media how, you're in your villain era and what that actually means. So as always, there are misconceptions and toxic versions of being in your villain era. And I want to talk about what actually happens when you embrace your villain era. Your villain era is actually just you being your authentic self. The world is diverse. There are many, many, many different people. Many of them fabulous. Some of them straight up dipshits. But if you are being your authentic self, if you are living through your values, you will piss somebody off. You will be the villain in somebody else's story. The point of being in your villain era is not to be a villain to yourself. It's not to beat yourself up. It's not to do anything like that. It's to truly embrace being your authentic self and then allowing everybody else to react however they're going to. Not everyone will react positively. We all know social media has tons of trolls. It's about being able to live through your values, which is what we talked about a few weeks ago, finding out what actually is important to us, what are our priorities, what are our values. And once you do that, you will become the villain of someone's story. Now, this may be vague in general, like a troll on social media who's like, I don't like that. I don't like that you think women deserve equal rights. Meh. And then you can just block them and move on with your life. Or it could be really specific that like a friend that you used to be super close to, you're no longer close to anymore because now you're living in your authenticity and you're aligned with your values. So being a villain is not actively being mean to other people. It is actively, aggressively, and loudly loving yourself, putting yourself first in a very spiritual and aligned way. It's not about, putting yourself is selfish. No, it's not. No, it's not. Put your own mask on first if the plane is going down. That is completely valid throughout your entire life. You have to live a self-centered life. You are at the middle of your own universe, your own ecosystem. You cannot put yourself off to the side to be able to thrive. You actually have to be in the center of your own existence. And that creates your villain era. Another way that a lot of people are interpreting this time for people is, I don't give a fuck what you think, which is totally valid. I love that. Because if you are so obsessed about what other people think, how other people feel, how they are going to interpret what you're doing for yourself in any way, 1, that's exhausting. And I'm so sorry, maybe you need a nap. 2, it's very unfair to you to constantly be thinking about other people and how they're going to react to you. And how can you mutilate your energy? How can you modify, dilute, dampen, filter, change yourself so that you are not offending anybody? Your villain era is taking all of that away and just living. Live your life. There is nothing wrong. There is nothing that says that you need to live for other people. There is nothing that says that someone else is more important to you in your own life. And that is, my kids are more important to me. My husband is my career is more important. I accept that you say that, and I'd like you to reassess your values to make sure that you are aligned with what you are doing. And now we get to the fun part, what we get to do during our villain era. What I want you to do is make 2 lists. The first list, things that you don't like. If someone did it, you could give a flying F. I don't care. whatever, meh. And then the other list is things that you actually take pause with. You actually are like, ooh, I would care if someone had a bad opinion about me with that. And so for me, the first one is basically anything you do with your free will that harms no one. I have a lot of I live in my villain era. I am awesome that way. I got a lot of Cancer in my sign, in my chart. So my thing is, it's like, I believe in free will. I believe in autonomy. And as long as you are not hurting anyone or anything, you do you, boo. You do you, boo. And so that would be my, I don't care. You do whatever you want, and I do whatever I want, and it's not going to bother me. Things that I judge people on: how you put the toilet paper on the stick, how well or not well you tip, even with tipping culture being outrageous as it is. Those are things that I openly judge about, and I believe people would judge me about, type of thing. So those are things that I would actually care if people saw me tip really poorly. I would get like, I would get weird about it. So that is something that I'm not living in my villain era about. That is something that other people's opinions still affect me. And these are small examples. Some people, it's, what if someone thinks I'm a bad parent on the playground? What if I'm not deemed professional enough? Now, with living in your villain era, it is not throwing everything away. There will be things that you still have to do. It's like, no, but this is my authentic self, is showing up in a thong and pasties to a Fortune 500 meeting. Your authentic self needs to wear a coat in that case. No shame to you, your body, or what you want to do, but there are certain situations where you need to dress a specific way. So it's understanding that living in your villain era isn't just causing chaos to cause chaos. There are social norms that you have to stick to. There are legal norms that you have to stick to. And it's just being aware of those and then living your authentic self. And the vast majority of the time, if we're being really honest, our authentic self doesn't irritate any of that stuff. Everything that I do authentically doesn't break the law, except maybe like one or two. Like, not gonna lie, there's one or two. Like, if I will cause a problem in public if I see a child being mistreated. I will do that. I have never been arrested for it, but I will cause problems in public if I see someone like screaming at a kid. And I will then verbally accost that human. And I have no shame about that. I'm perfectly comfortable because that aligns with my values, that children's safety is a priority. So if you're actually living in your authentic self, while people may not like you, your life will be easier because you'll actually like yourself more. So go forth, be the hero of your own story, and remember that you can always subscribe and tune in to the Weekly Dose of Woo, because we are here for you to do all the magic that makes your life special.